What if you could literally build a better brain? And no, I'm not talking about some sci-fi fantasy. I'm talking about a real process, something you can start today. We're going to dive into the blueprints for rewiring your own neural architecture. So, let's get into it. Okay, let's start with a big question. One I'm pretty sure you've asked yourself before. Do you ever feel like your intelligence is just fixed? Like you were born with a certain amount and that's kind of the hand you were dealt? It's a really common feeling, but turns out it's not the whole story, not even close. Because, well, your brain has a completely different answer for you. Thanks to this incredible thing called neuroplasticity, which is just a fancy way of saying your brain can change and adapt based on what you do, we now know our minds are way more flexible than we ever thought possible. So right off the bat, let's shatter that old myth. This idea that intelligence is some static score you get on a test, it's time to throw that out. Think of it more like a dynamic system, something you can actively influence, shape, and seriously strengthen. The real question is, how? And here's the absolute core of it all. Intelligence isn't some gift you're handed. It's a structure. It's an architecture that you build piece by piece through consistent, focused mental training. You're the one in the driver's seat. You're the builder. All right, so if we're the builders, what's our most important tool? It really all boils down to one single, powerful principle. This is the absolute foundation of all cognitive growth. Let's call it the focused struggle. So what in the world is focused struggle? Well, it's that sweet spot, that perfect zone where you're tackling something right at the edge of your abilities. It's not so easy that you're bored, but it's not so hard that you just give up. That feeling of effort, that friction, that's not you failing. That is your brain in real time building new pathways. It's the feeling of growth itself. This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Real, lasting growth doesn't happen when you're just passively consuming stuff. Like mindlessly scrolling through a feed or watching a video you'll forget in 5 minutes. It happens the moment you switch gears and start actively wrestling with an idea. And just look at this comparison. It makes it so clear. On one side, you've got passive learning. It's low effort, it feels easy, but guess what? The retention is terrible. You barely remember any of it. But then you look at the other side, focused struggle. It's high effort, it feels hard, and that's precisely why the retention is so high. The big takeaway here is that we have to start embracing that difficulty. That's where the magic happens. Okay, this is where we get super practical. How do we actually put this into practice in our daily lives? We're going to look at 2 sets of habits. The first one is all about building a core pillar of our neural architecture, sharp, deep focus. Let's talk about what's called your executive function. Think of it like the CEO of your brain. It helps you plan, decide, and focus. And you can train it like a muscle. First, by intentionally delaying pleasure. Postponing a small reward literally strengthens your willpower for the long haul. And second, by training your concentration directly. Engaging in things that demand your full, uninterrupted attention, like reading a tricky book or really digging into a new skill. And let me be really clear here. This is not about restricting yourself just for the sake of it. It's a targeted training exercise. Every single time you choose that harder, more focused task over the easy distraction, you are literally strengthening your ability to control your single most valuable resource, your attention. All right, let's move on to the second set of habits. This is how we build on that foundation of focus. This is all about constructing the other major pillar of our mental architecture, a deep, interconnected web of knowledge. So how do we build that deep knowledge? Again, 2 simple habits. First, make it a point to read difficult stuff. Find the books and articles that are just a little bit outside your comfort zone. That struggle is what expands your vocabulary and your ability to grasp complex ideas. And second, and this one is a total game changer, try to explain what you're learning to someone else. The act of teaching is a secret weapon because it instantly reveals all the gaps in your own understanding. And the really crucial point here is that this isn't just about cramming your head full of more facts. No, it's about building the mental scaffolding, that solid neural architecture that allows you to connect new ideas and understand more and more deeply in the future. So what's the big picture here when you put it all together? It's time to completely reframe how we think about intelligence. It's not something you have, it's something you do. It's an active process you get to engage in every single day. So let's just recap the biggest ideas. Number 1, your intelligence is not fixed, period. Number 2, real, lasting growth comes from that focused struggle. 3. Simple daily habits are what actually rewire your brain. And 4. Focus and knowledge are the two main pillars that you have the power to build. What this all means is that you are not just a passive resident living in your mind. No way. You are its primary architect. You hold the blueprints, you have the tools, and you get to construct the kind of mind you want to live in.
Which really just leaves us with one final, powerful question. Now that you know you're the architect, what are you going to build?